Good morning again, and welcome to the Interim Finance Committee. Committee Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Senator Cannizzaro, Senator Goycochea, Senator Harris, Senator Neal, Senator Nguyen, Senator Severs-Gansert, Senator Titus, Vice Chair Dondero Loop, Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Backus, Assemblywoman Brown May, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Hafen, Assemblywoman Howdicke, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblyman Miller, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Yeager, Chairman Moreno.
And I am here. Will you please mark Assemblywoman Gorlow absent excused? I'll remind everyone who's joining us here in the audience to make sure you turn off all your electronic devices, or at least put them on mute. We will have two sections of public comment. The first one will be now. If you are listening to this meeting and you'd like to make public comment, you can dial in at 669-900-6833. The meeting ID is 849-9005-6825, and then press pound. And with that, do we have anyone joining us here in Carson City that would like to make public comment? Seeing none, and I do not see anyone in Las Vegas, so we will go to the phone lines. BPS, do we have anyone joining us by phone for public comment?
Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no callers at this time.
Thank you so much. So we will move on to the next item on our agenda, item C, which is a statement of the American Rescue Plan Act Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Fund obligations and remaining reserve balances within the COVID-19 relief program's budget account. And hopefully that statement was longer than your report will be. Maybe? I'm just joking. Good morning.
Thank you, Chairman Moreno, Vice Chair Dondero Loop, members of the Interim Finance Committee. For the record, Brody Leiser with the Fiscal Analysis Division, Legislative Counsel Bureau. I will take the next 3 hours to walk through the statement of the 3 minutes, maybe. I'll walk through Agenda Item C, the Statement of American Rescue Plan Act Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Fund obligations and remaining reserve balances. The statement can be found beginning with the summary sheet on page 5 of the meeting packet. There's one work program submitted for consideration today, which, if approved, would authorize $34,000 under the $100 million authority set aside for state agencies, and therefore does not impact the overall balance displayed on the summary sheet of the statement. The remaining unobligated balance of coronavirus state fiscal recovery funds is displayed on the statement and is approximately $42.5 million. There are no changes to this amount compared to the statement that was presented at the April 6th meeting of the Interim Finance Committee. And as discussed during that meeting, the unobligated balance displayed on the statement does not reflect additional amounts which are recommended by the governor in his budget for the 2023 to 25 biennium. Pages 6 through 15 detail the obligations approved to date. And on pages 16 through 21, the breakdown statement for select obligations of coronavirus state fiscal recovery funds is presented. There's one item, as I mentioned, it's on page 22 under the section for allocations of the $100 million in authority set aside for state agencies that's presented for consideration today by the committee. The table on page 22 provides the details showing savings resulting from final program expenditures compared to the originally approved authority. And there are no dollar amount changes to this section of the statement since the April 6th meeting of the Interim Finance Committee. And Chairman Moreno, that concludes my remarks on the statement.
Thank you so much for the presentation, and I like that 3-hour presentation thing.
Telling me it's 2 hours and 55 minutes left.
Members, this is not an action item, but does anyone have any questions? Just informational alone. Okay. So thank you. With that, there are no questions. We appreciate you. All right. Moving on to item D on our agenda. Good morning, and I'm going to need you to put a smile on that face. There you go. There you go.
Good morning, Chair Monroe Moreno and committee. I'm Sherry Brigham, Deputy Director with the Department of Public Safety, and to my right is Curtis Palmer, my Chief Financial Officer, and to my left is John Litos, the Chief of Capitol Police and Dignitary Protection. I'm here today to discuss our work program for dignitary protection. We had originally requested $34,000 in additional funds for our in-state travel, and now we have reduced that amount to $24,500. We are here and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Could you just elaborate a little bit of why the reduction in the request? I love it, but if you could just explain it.
Sherry Brigham for the record. There is a cottage available for our traveling dignitary protections for their use, and that is going to reduce it somewhat. John, do you have anything else? That's it? That's what we believe, and the governor is using the state plane as often as he can.
Perfect. And question, how many staff do you have, and what's your current vacancy rate?
I'm going to leave that to John Litos, Chief of Capitol Police and Dignitary Protection.
John Litos, Chief of the Capitol Police, for the record. We currently do have some vacancies, and that's been taxing on the in-state travel because the bulk of my team is located in the Vegas area. We just recently promoted one of the individuals in the south who will be relocating to the north, so that will minimize some of the need for travel for our Vegas contingent.
Members, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. As revised.
Thank you.
And before that, could you restate the new amount? I'm so sorry.
Sherry Brigham for the record. We are requesting $24,500 in our in-state category rather than the $34,000 we originally asked for.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I would move to approve the $24,500 as requested.
I have a motion from Senator Dondero Loop, a second from Assemblywoman Bacchus. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That takes us to the next item on our agenda, item E, the Department of Business and Industry. And members, this is an informational only. It will not be an action item. But I'm sure there may be a question or two for you. I just have that feeling it's going to come.
Good morning. Members, Chair Monroe Moreno, members of the Interim Finance Committee, Steve Acroft, Administrator of the Nevada Housing Division, for the record, giving an update on the Home Means Nevada initiative. The highlight, if you want to call it that, here is that the division has exercised an agreement with ICF. And if you don't think I've tripped over that once or twice, you would be mistaken. And that's a national group that is assisting us also with our home ARP funds, but also assists other states and localities with their use of state and local fiscal recovery funds, specifically in the housing field. So they're going to help provide us some technical assistance. And with that, be more than happy to answer any questions.
Senator Neal.
Yay. All right. Number one, thank you for turning in this supporting documentation that was received yesterday. So I want to, it looks like when I asked the question about the 73 acres that was a part of the Texas Station land purchase, that you have turned in an application from the city of North Las Vegas that indicates, and as an application and letter of intent, that they were going to purchase this land. Is that the documentation you turned in?
Steve Acroft, for the record, I believe so, yes.
So that documentation counters the statement made on April 6th from North Las Vegas that they did not purchase the land. Well, they sent a letter to us. I don't know about. They sent a letter to the entire committee after that presentation on April 6th saying that that was an inaccurate statement.
Steve Acroft, I'm not familiar with that particular letter. What was provided to you was the application, the actual application that came into the division initially, and the backup documentation that was submitted along with the application.
Thank you for that. So, Madam Chair, I don't know what the rule is, but I know that on that desk, I believe Steve Acroft is telling the truth. I believe that the city of North Las Vegas committed perjury in this body by doing the statement and making the statement that what we had heard was not true around the 70 million. Well, really, it's 80 million, but the 73-acre purchase. The documentation that we received yesterday literally states that in order for them to buy the 73 acres of the Texas Station land, they needed the $10 million from Home Means Nevada, and it was dependent upon this $10 million in order to finalize the purchase. There are letters submitted by the city manager that have the city council and everyone else on the letterhead saying that clearly there was knowledge, right, that they knew that this was happening. And so I don't know, I know this is an informational item, but I would love for this to become an action item around the $10 million associated with the purchase of this land.
Thank you, Senator Neal. I think that we will need to have a conversation with our legal department and decide how we're going to proceed further. And that's a conversation we can have offsite.
Thank you. Can I add something else that you bring up to legal? That while in this committee, I've brought up several times of the Windsor Park issue and the land that I am seeking associated with these families, and that part of that 73 acres being that the state put in $10 million towards the purchase of that land, that some of that land also be looked at or examined to see if we could get a portion of that land for the relocation of those families, being that the state has already invested $10 million to purchase it.
That would be added, and I will include you on any conversations with legal. I was trying to get her to move.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Members, any other questions or comments? Yes. Senator Titus.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and just wondering, question for my colleague, we're talking about using ARPA money or general fund money?
So the existing money came from the Home Means Nevada money, and it was already allocated. And it was already my understanding, and Steve Acroft can correct me, but they were granted $10 million in order to purchase the land in addition to their own general fund. So the mix of dollars is general fund, ARPA, HUD, and then the Home Means Nevada dollars.
Assemblywoman Hadigi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nice to see you. I just have a quick question. You had mentioned that you have contracted with a third party to help with technical assistance. Can you elaborate on that? What does that mean? Where are you guys having technical difficulties, and what is this third party actually going to come in and help with?
Thank you for the question, Steve Acroft, for the record. Their scope of work involves a few things. Number one, it's dealing with some of the compliance questions that we are not necessarily experts in, assisting with the agreements and processing those agreements, providing they'll work with the division on a monitoring plan going forward. So once the money's been funded and the project has come to fruition, we will be able to have a monitoring plan developed with these folks, and really to make sure that the money gets obligated in the correct period of time, and that the compliance with the state and local fiscal recovery fund final rule is adhered to.
And the payment for this third party, is that coming out of the $500 million for HM&I, or is this coming out of a different budget? Because I believe that 500 had already been expended. And are you concerned that without them, we're not going to be able to expend the money by the deadline?
So I'll answer the first part first. We are administering this fund with 0.2%, which doesn't sound like much, but it's $1 million. So $499 million will go out to the street. $1 million will stay within the division for administrative purposes. So that's the funding source for this particular event. And I forget the second part.
Yeah, with their assistance, are you pretty comfortable that we're going to be able to expend the money by the deadline?
Steve Acroft, for the record, yes.
Okay, thank you. I think that $1 million is a wise investment for helping with that. Thank you.
Members, any other questions or comments? All right, as I said in the beginning, this is only an informational item. I thank you so much for joining us, and I will remind anyone that is watching us or comes before this body or any legislative committee, testimony is sitting at that table must be truthful no matter who you are. We appreciate you and all that you do, and thank you for coming in this Saturday morning. With that, we will move on to our next informational item. Item F, the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Hello, Chair and committee members. Sean Sever from the Nevada DMV. I do have a very long and extensive PowerPoint, if that's okay to share with you. Just kidding. Thank you for the chance to update you on our tech fee refund project, which I'm happy to report is almost complete. Through March 31st of 2023, the DMV has distributed more than $1.8 million of the $6 million in refunds available. The DMV issued 61,005 refund checks to businesses on February 22nd of last year for a total close to $2.2 million. As of March 31st, 44,873 of these refunds have cleared for more than $1.6 million, or 74%. More than $3.8 million in cash refunds were made available to the public in our offices on April 4th of last year. And as of March 31st, 93,044 of these refunds have been issued for more than $272,000 and $272,500, or 7.14%. Throughout this project, we have found that most of our customers are not interested in receiving the refund and have told us to keep it, which is not reflected in these stats. The DMV has conducted a very large advertising campaign, received a lot of media coverage, and has done a lot of social media posts to remind customers to pick up their refunds. We will continue these efforts and proactively encourage them to get their refunds when they visit our offices. And any funds remaining after June 30th, 2023 will revert to the State Highway Fund pursuant to Section 4.7 of Senate Bill 457 of the 2021 legislative session. And thank you for your time today. I can answer any questions.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Members, any questions? All right, seeing none, we appreciate you being here this morning. And that brings us up to the last item on our agenda, item G, which is our second round of public comment. Do we have anyone here in Carson City that would like to make public comment? Seeing none, and I do not see anyone in Las Vegas. So BPS, do we have anyone joining us on the line that would like to make public comment?
Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no callers at this time.
Wonderful. So with that, I think that's the shortest IFC in history. I do want to say before we adjourn, our staff, our fiscal staff, is doing the Lord's work, right? We're in the middle and at crunch time of a legislative session, and they're getting ready for an economic forum. So having another IFC was not planned, expected, or ideal. So for all of our staff, those that are at home working, those that are watching us, those that are in the room, thank you. Please know that the work that you are doing does not go unappreciated. We truly appreciate you all. So thank you. So it is the chair's, both of our wishes, not to have another IFC, so whoever's listening over there in the corner, we got a lot of work to do to get through this legislative session. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.